Ooh, you know, it's time to keep smoking. Oh, you know. Ooh, on and on. Peace, love, and light. Oh, man. How's the family doing on this beautiful Thursday afternoon? I'm in Atlanta. It's raining. You know what I'm talking about. The rain is coming down. You dig? We over here smoking on Jerry Springer and Carol. Not Carol Baskin, my niggas. The Carol that was behind Emmett Till's horrific murder. Twin Pillar, Blue Pillar 44 in the building. So we're going to chop up some game and whatnot, talk some shit, and give some historical context to what's going on in the culture. Because, you know, sometimes our people, you know, they haven't been hipped or they haven't been taught by family members, OGs, aunties, and uncles and whatnot about what the fuck was going on before they were born, right? Some people were born into the madness and they don't understand what perpetuated some of the madness. So that's what we're gonna come here and we're gonna talk about today. How you doing, Blue Pill?
I'm amazing. As you said, is one of them days in Georgia. The skies opened up. There's a lot of downpour, and I think that that's the release of our ancestors. Ironically enough, today is Coretta Scott King's born day, and peep the math. It's been 68 years since the murder of Emmett Till. That lady lied on him when she was 20. She lived to be the age of 88.
Yep.
Right? Uh, Martin Luther King died in 68. The other day,
Right.
Harry Belafonte transitioned in his
Right.
90s, I believe. Right? And then Automatics made transition the other day. All of these stories are intricately tied together. All of
One.
these warriors,
Yes.
these soldiers, right? And these genocidals, genocidal, these perpetrators of genocide, you know, are
Yes.
intricately tied together.
Yeah, there you
Lady
go. I
Dunham.
thought it was Carol Baskin. Carol Dunham, and my good brother pointed out that Obama's maiden or his what they call slave name, is Dunham is spelled with a
Is
U.
Dunham.
It's spelled with a U. You know,
Huh?
vowels are interchangeable.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Dunham. It's the same. In 1955, this lady, if you will, a young lady at the time, perpetuated a lie about our brother, the
Out of
young brother, 14-year
Chicago.
old at the time, Emmett Till, who was
Out of
visiting,
Chicago.
huh? Who was visiting from Chicago to Mississippi, where genealogically the majority of people who ended up in
From
Chicago,
Mississippi.
right, they come from
J. Shout
Mississippi,
out to JIV. He
right?
pointed that out in his poetry.
Yeah, his expert exegesis in his poem dealing with Chi-Town migration, right? The majority of people who ended up in the Midwest came from
Right.
these regions, from the Delta, Mississippi area, of to which he will return in the summer of 55 on his trip. And he was erroneously accused of either brushing up against her
Yeah.
or reckless eyeballing her. And it was almost tantamount to the same story that we heard, in Tulsa, right? With the violation that would take place You know what I'm saying? And these younger Karens responding to the politics and to the energy at the time, right? They would levy the irreparable charge against these young men. And that charge has always been known historically
Lynch.
throughout the South to be met with death. And that charge was a transgression on a white woman, sexual
Right.
transgression. You know what I'm saying? And they destroyed and decimated this young man, Emmett Till. And the more things have changed, the more that they've stayed the same. Because just last year or earlier this year, they found a body of another young man who was destroyed, decimated, and disemboweled, and all kind of foul things that they did ritually to this young man's body. I want us to also put into account, there's a documentary that came out on Hulu about infiltrating the KKK, 3 officers in Florida, right? Klansmen, and they were plotting to kill an inmate. They was correctional officers, and they had a fight. One of them had a fight with an inmate, and dude bit him. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted to kill him, and you know, they wanted to decimate the body, chop it up into pieces, and leave it in the bayou. So even in the article, they speak to the fact that these are esoteric secret societies. You know, the Ku Klux Klan in this country is not a social club, but an esoteric secret society. Is a fraternal organization covered under U.S. Code
C8
501.
Yeah, let me add on to that.
8.
That yes,
Yeah.
they are, for anybody that has not, because they don't teach us this in school, and Black Democrats don't teach us this, that this is an occult organization hiding underneath the guise of a fraternal order, or you know, and this is a terroristic group. I mean, this is a homeland terroristic organization, but
It's a
terroristic
domestic terrorist organization.
At the root of it, they are an occult, dark magic, or whatever you want to call organization. What they call lynchings are rituals. Ritual sacrifices. The reason why they're quartering the bodies and whatnot. The reason why they're quartering, the same way that they will quarter you in war hundreds of years ago, or thousands of years ago. What is quartered? You be cut in 4 pieces. Okay? The beheading of a person is to prevent them from reincarnating and whatnot. The eating of the organs is what they would do in warfare to basically take in the energy and whatnot. The smoking of an op in modern day culture, right? The smoking of an op, the putting an op in a pack, is equivalent to what they were doing when they would cut our people up into 1,000 pieces after riddling them with bullets and whatnot, or what they did to Nat Turner by making him tar grease. They tarred and feathered. They basically what did they fillet him?
They emulsified him into like a liquid. They flayed him. Yeah, they removed his skin. They flayed him, turned him into a liquid. They desecrated his head, his skull, and all of the, you know, these are what they do. This is what their secret society, fraternal organization, Skull and Bones, is built upon them gaining possession of skulls of their enemies. Geronimo, in particular, Sitting Bull. You know what I'm saying? And they would do ceremony. You know, these are high grade occultists. Albert Pike, who was the leader of the Confederacy, he was also a 33-degree Mason, and he was, you know, the head of the Klan. You feel me? Highly esoteric. You know, he wrote the book Morals and Dogma. You know what I'm saying? All occultists know, you know what I'm saying, how these people give it up. So
video
Yeah,
viral
please let me
Monday.
go ahead.
It was a lady in Africa, and she was talking about the Europeans have the heads of the African king in jar. Europe.
Right.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Right? Hold on. Let me cook. It's the same situation that you see in Harvard where they had to return the skull of Geronimo. What were they doing with the skull of Geronimo, the warrior, inside of an Ivy League college? Please riddle me that. Anybody that's out there who hears what we're talking about, please riddle me. Why would they hold on, right? Why do they hold on to the body or the cadaver when you die in jail? Why do they hold on to the cadaver when you die in the streets? They do their magic on you before your family could even see you. They already do their magic. They already do what they got to do. Where's my morticians in the building, right? Any of my black morticians in the building, please back me up when I talk about that there's some bodies that y'all can't even touch.
This is a fact. So, you know, when we even talk about African traditional systems, and I have not always been a fan for different reasons. One of the main reasons that I was kind of like skeptical in my earlier years of growing up is that, you know, I'm like, all right, when you gonna use your magic to fight back the people who are fighting you with magic, or y'all just in denial that what we're looking at is not the result of, you know, a high degree of black magic, you know, no pun intended. And with this particular person, the individual that accused Emmett Till of this travesty, I'm like, one droplet of her blood in a cauldron, one droplet of her blood in a ceremony, you know what I'm saying, will create a black hole amongst melanated people. When you think about her Ori, think about her Chi, think about her, and think about her as a person, and how much devastation has been attached to just one person. She literally set off the civil rights movement with her accusation in 1955. She's lived at least 3 lifetimes.
Right.
That was 68 years ago. King died 68. How far are we? They still show their goddamn pictures in black and white. That's how long this person's this lie has been allowed to fester and manifest itself into legislation that has rippled globally, right? She's lived through how many presidents, how many eras, black and white TV going to color, going to cable, going to digital, and this person is still alive, and she's been able to die in her home peacefully at the age of 68. And we still catching that. And it's almost like, again, as more things change, they remain the same. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi is just putting in legislation to you know, return Jim Crow. They're still catching
Real
bodies.
quick, Blue,
They're still lynching
I
people.
got a special guest that I need to bring in. I gotta bring the God in because we talking that talk. And here's the backup.
Yeah.
The bottom or
This is the bottom.
okay.
That's the top.
All right.
The legend.
The God.
Building.
God
What's
himself.
cooking, good looking? Chin.
How you, my brother?
Listen. So
The perfect person in time for this conversation. Especially since I know that you just recently been spending time in the South. And I wanna take a critical look or observation, but not one that deals with necessarily chastisement, because there's no place for that per se. But in the hoodoo traditions and the voodoo traditions, in our ancient Southern, you know, spiritual traditions per se, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there emphasis, is there any acknowledgement that we should be fighting fire with fire or magic with magic? Because what these people have been doing has been highly ritualistic when it comes to the decimation and the desecration of Black bodies
Well,
and spirits.
okay. So I'm gonna start with, so the hanging of the black man in the trees is very ritualistic.
Right.
Okay, so when they talk about the strange fruit poem, right?
Right.
The
Yes.
preferred hanging tree is the poplar tree.
Right. Right.
Okay. Now the poplar tree is particularly sacred to Orisha people because it is the cousin to what we call the Alamo tree. And the Alamo tree is sacred to Shango. And Shango is rumored to have hung himself on this tree. Right?
Okay.
So that's not coincidence that the white boy prefers the poplar tree to hang black men from.
Right.
Okay. When you go back even to like when you talk about the Hebrew Israelites and all that, right? When they talk about the Falashas were originally, they got kicked out of Egypt because they was sacrificing rams, which again is sacred to Shango, right? So these people have a overview and an understanding of esoterics, and so they are using this magic, and so there's a spell in all of this, right?
Yeah.
And so it requires us to necessarily be educated in a magical sense. Now, like you said, so the problem is that we're not using the magic that comes from us, unfortunately. So we'll attach ourselves to anything that's African, but we are basically West and Central Africans. We're Bantu people, right? And so you have to look into Bantu traditions in order to fight what they've been doing, because they're using that scope or that blueprint to tack us down because they understand our esoterics, right? So when you get to the core of it, it's necromancy, it's Palo Mayombe. They're using skulls and bones, right? And they're casting these spirits and they're tying them up so that they cannot come back and essentially affect you or support you, right? Because your wisdom is cut off, right? And so there's this thing where right now we're fighting this masculine feminine war. Everybody's like, oh, is it matriarchy? Is it this? Is it that? No, it's really a African democracy, right? That God is not a person or one man or a singular thing. It's a family, right? And so you talking about the divine feminine, then you got to talk about the divine masculine, and then the divine infant, right? Or the divine juvenile, right? The Trinity, right? And well, it's actually not even a Trinity; it's actually a quadrant, because everything is really sacred in fours, right? Exactly. So the spirit is what is the possibility. So, like in recent traditions, when they charge you something, they always charge you 121 or 151. The one is the possibility because Africans don't believe in zero, right? So the one is the possibility of something creating anew. It's the one that will open up to the next 100, right?
Right.
Okay. So we understand that this fraternal order is supported by esoteric and occultism. And they are very clear about that. But we stray away from it because we are caught up in the spookism still, right? Now, the other part is, unfortunately, we have a system that was created by our ancestors, the ones who went through the situation. When we talk about all this FBA stuff and all that, it's provided for us, but we just kind of sometimes neglect things because people really don't get the understanding, and then they get afraid of the secret society. So when you tell them you can't learn this until you get initiated, they're like, I don't want to be bothered. But that's not what the white boy doing. He going with his eyes closed.
Right.
Feel me? He going to get them initiations. He going to do whatever he got to do. Right? So it requires us to truly embrace ourselves as something new. Right? As a new species, as an evolution, and to coincide all of the things that we have available to us. So we have the ability to do all these other magics, but we have to first tap into our ancestral thing, right? And again, there's a system that's already been put in place that our people have been, they've been propagating and participating in. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, like you said. There's no reason, right? The shit is already there. It's laid out. And until we open up to that, we will necessarily, because I'll be critical, but it's not to be on some aggressive shit. It's just like to be like, you gotta wake up because you sleepwalking. If you're still talking about structures and all that shit do not. The reality is that the Orisha shit is what we are talking on this phone with right now.
Right.
E5 makes it possible for you to have this phone. No other tradition is talking like that where it is affecting you in the future. You understand?
Right.
Can you explain that to the people? The ghost in the machine concept of
right.
What exactly that means?
We talked about this back in the days on Know the Ledge. The fact that when you open up a fucking computer, you're looking at a city, right? And you're looking at the divine in the sense of it being microscopic, because we look to things being greater than us on a larger scale and not on a smaller scale.
Right.
Right? So you should be afraid of something that is smaller than you that can get inside you and influence you than more than something that is greater than you, right? And so,
right, we just saw that the quote unquote pandemic, that concept of what a microscopic virus can do to shut down humanity in a heartbeat,
right.
Something that's so micro.
Listen, I tell you, I had the conversation with God in the Port Authority. It was like all of this anti-terrorism. He's like, all it takes is one net to go up your nose, and that dude with that machine gun to be rolling around on the floor like he's on fire, right? And you think about when we're talking about environmentalism and shit like that, right? They say that if they stop picking up the garbage in 17 days, there'll be a plague. Understand that?
Right.
That's why the garbage, the sanitation union is the strongest union in any city. Because if they stop picking up the garbage in 17 days, you're gonna have a plague.
Right.
The flies gonna take over everything. People gonna be getting bit by something that they ain't never seen before, and they're gonna be sick, right? So you understand that environmentalism tells you that if the insects, if certain animals, if certain reptiles existed or cease to exist, this planet will be overrun by insects, right? This is when they talk about the meek shall inherit the earth.
Right.
Right? That's the flies and the maggots
on
your ass, right? So, yeah.
Bacteria.
Listen, you go to Africa, you better take that shot so you don't get bit by that TT virus and get malaria.
Finish.
Yeah, that shit can eat motherfuckers' brains and all kinds of
Straight
shit.
up.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
okay,
right. I be telling folks, they be like, I'm going to Africa. I'm like, all right, that's cool. You better be careful because you're not really built for that, right? You try to be, you're a dog, but trying to be a wolf.
Environment.
There's no question that the dog comes from the wolf. We're very clear about that.
Very clear.
But you ain't no wolf.
You domestic.
You got the minerals. Your teeth ain't sharp like that.
You don't got that stock.
You can't drink that water, son. You better be careful. You heard?
Right.
When I go to Cuba, I drink out the bottled water, son, or they boil that water. They don't be drinking that faucet water. You're not built like that, right?
So, in so many ways, right? Our genome, who we are as a genus of people, we're domesticated, as opposed to that wild, unadulterated seed that we initially come from. Hence the fact we're so quick to call one another original man, and I'm like, but homie from Cameroon is not. Like,
you not built like that. I'm telling you,
what makes you so original, buddy?
You ain't about that life. Take it easy. Listen, my elder, she was initiated in 1965, right?
Right.
So you understand that. So King is still alive. She has Rocha, right? She said, man, God bless them white boys. They done brought me over here. I got this air conditioning and all this shit because I would have died over there with them brothers. I ain't about that life. And that's just the reality. They talking all that shit. I'm like, son, have you lived in Miami without some AC? You'll die. What are you talking about? Don't play yourself. I went outside one day. That shit burnt my neck. I was like, because my uncle had one of them funny hats, them little foreign legion hats. I was laughing at him. I'm like, yo, where you get that hat from? He's like, oh, you think it's a joke, huh? I went outside around 10, 11 o'clock. That shit started cutting on my neck like a razor. I felt like I was in Rikers Island. I said, oh, hell no.
That
Right?
shit happened to me in 91 in Arizona. I got cooked. Nah, I'm saying, bro.
You know, and so when I hear brothers say, oh, I ain't my ancestors, I'm like, you damn right you ain't. Think about this. You know, people will get in their ego and they'll say, oh, I couldn't have been a slave. All right. If you're talking like that, I want you to go to Alabama, Georgia, anywhere in the places, and walk on one of them roads that ain't got no lights. 2, 3, 4 miles of that. Then you tell me that whether or not you good for any of that. And I want you to take your shoes off. Take the shoes off and do that. Okay? And I'll let you walk on the road and do that and see how built you are. Because I ain't about that life. Feel me? So I can imagine when there's no street lights and it's nighttime and they telling you to go beyond where you know. Right? Because you've been on this plantation forever. You ain't gone beyond that. For you to run from that takes a lot of courage. You understand? Like people be like, oh, you don't know what's out there. You have no idea. You don't have the foresight to see what's on the other side of them trees. So to go in the middle of the night with snakes and all kinds of stuff, armadillos and coyotes and cougars and all kinds of shit, that shit ain't easy. So when people say that, I be like, I don't know about that, man. You putting the cart before the horse, because I ain't built like that. I know I need some lights. I need some AC. I appreciate this good old life. I'm praying that we don't got a motherfucker speak no Russian or Chinese right now. I want America to kick their ass. Feel me? I like living like this. They be talking about all this anarchy and shit.
I'll be on the highway.
We got a clip. We got a video coming out later with we did an interview with the brother 19 Keys, and we were speaking about the fallout from the fall of America. You know, the fact that a lot of us grew up on that tradition, you know, but now that we're in this reality where things seem to be breaking and falling, you know, what does the fallout look like, and who is it going to potentially, you know, who's it going to hit the hardest? Yeah, we know that our people is not built for any level of extreme discomfort.
Well, I can tell you this.
And
the first wave, this is what the ignorant gonna do. First, the moment that they get to understanding that the police force ain't working, the ignorant niggas gonna go and try to kill the ops. Right? They're gonna go try to kill the ops. They're gonna kill each other. The next wave is gonna starve to death because they've been standing at some FEMA line waiting to get a sandwich. Right. The next wave of people that's going to die, our people that's going to die, is be the ones that's walking around, roaming around, and show up on the wrong plantation when the crackers going to already have their shit together, and they're going to be like, what you doing here? Because it's going to be like The Walking Dead, right? And so I don't want that reality. I'm praying for America. America, make America great again. I don't know what the fuck these other niggas talking about. Like, you better. I done been to Cuba. I know what that shit is. Motherfucker go to the store and they ain't got what you looking for. You got all the money you like. They be like, you know what I'm saying? And I tell people, like, if you really want to understand what could happen, look at Venezuela. Look at Venezuela and see what the fuck. They went from doctors, women, female doctors went from being professionals to selling pussy in the street the next day, right? Motherfuckers is dumpster diving for food. That shit real. And it's because the people, and it happened because they started to purchase all of their foods and have it imported as opposed to producing their own food. So when the money went bad, them niggas didn't have no food, right? That's why I'm in the South. Because I need to be near some shit, some goats and some sheep if this shit go bad. You feel me? Like, when we talking all that, I'm like, man, you better swine and dine. I'm going to have a couple pigs because they're the most turned over livestock in the world. You understand that every 3 months you might get 8 or 9 pigs. So if you got enough for pigs, you'll be good. Because trying to go to the store, you're going to be sadly mistaken. They're going to be like, yo, listen, 4 Walmarts got closed in Chicago. That's not good.
Yeah.
That could be a FEMA camp that they're getting ready for. You understand? Because they know that once it go bad, niggas they're gonna run down on all the stores to try to get as many supplies as they can.
Right.
So they already withdrawing their fucking supplies
Right.
out. And I could pay attention to being where I'm at. I'm near the white folks. So my Dollar General and my Family Dollar look good. It be stocked. Right. But you go to the hood,
Stop, right?
shit be
That should be
crazy.
tapped out.
The hood.
Yeah.
I run the same experiments here in Georgia, and it's the same shit. In the hood, they got barren shelves. You go out of communities where them folks is at,
Yeah,
they
sir.
shit is well out. You know what I'm saying?
And so like I said, well, see, the thing is this. For as much conspiracies that I got, I do know one thing. So what they ain't talking about is the fact that the United States found this gold that they ain't been talking about. Okay? They found some mines that they was extracting some other shit like bauxite or some shit like that. I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki and the niggas talking about this shit. This was a couple months ago.
Right.
They found this bauxite or something
Right.
mineral mine that they was mining, but they was bypassing the gold because the shit was green and they ain't recognized. So now they figured out this method of how they can extract gold per ton of soil better than they ever have before. Before they might do like 3 or 4 tons and they might only get like a pound of gold or some shit like that.
Right.
Now they got this method where they can really extract the gold. So now they ain't been saying nothing. So I'm thinking that the people who really run this thing is waiting for everybody to show their cards. Because it sounds good that China and them want to create their own money, but who gonna buy their goods? Ain't nobody gonna buy them shit more than Americans. You understand that? We are the greatest consumers. So
Right.
logistically, it don't sound right. Like, so who gonna buy y'all goods?
It don't make sense. It's cutting off your
Right.
nose to spite your face. I'm like, if they're the biggest manufacturers, who's gonna buy their shit? How you gonna decimate your customer base? Like, that's bad.
And now you got all this work. What you gonna do now?
So the thing, you got all the work with no fee. I'm like, what type of hustler is that? So I've been saying it don't logistically make sense. You know, somebody make it make sense for me. But you know, I definitely see a squeeze on the middle class. I definitely see, you know what I'm saying? I know that it's not just something that's just relegated to this country. You know, while we're seeing emerging middle classes in these emerging economies, like Gucci and things of that nature, the people who drive Gucci to be the #1 global brand is not the American consumer. It's the
Right.
Chinese consumer. It's the Asian consumer. It's the emerging middle class who are so dependent on luxury. That's why, again, economics, these people did bad during the pandemic. Not necessarily people like our people was ordering online, but Asia wasn't pulling up. They wasn't fueling the tourist industry, and they wasn't fueling those sales at them locations coming up in them stores. Then people will go to Italy and go to them stores and make purchases, and they make it in China. You feel me? And they participate in the luxury experience. So when you cut yourself off from all of that,
we also
like,
got to remember
somebody
that China has only been in the first world in the last 20 years. They was in the dark ages like 2 seconds ago.
Right.
And socially, the people, once you get a taste of some American shit, that shit is effective. That shit gonna have you twerking. It's gonna have you spinning the block, all that shit, right? So understand that. Yeah, they've been feeding us TikTok, but they still got to get some of us. And in them getting some of us, that shit affects them. And so they can have whatever class that they think they're going to have, this working class, but those people are going to, remember they was Tiananmen Square, what was that, 30 years ago?
About 30.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not really good with this form of government that they have. And so that's my faith is in the human beings. Like, you know what? They're going to wild the fuck out and they're going to stop this dumb shit because don't nobody really want to go to war. Everybody want to chill and get on TikTok. Motherfuckers do not want to be beefing. You understand? Niggas just like this TikTok, niggas in Africa is making dances, they get live. Yo, ain't nobody trying to really beef with the weirdos. Feel me?
Take it.
So I got faith in the human beings that they're going to be like, look, man, don't nobody got time for that shit. Niggas is playing motherfucking Black Ops on the motherfucking on the virtual shit.
Niggas got
Yeah, man. Fight the war on Black Ops. Who got the most kills? That's who gonna win.
right.
Feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, cause I'm telling you, niggas be talking all this anarchy shit. I'm not with it. Feel me? I'm not with it. I got my gun, and you show up in my crib talking about some where the women at. I'm gonna kill one of you niggas. Get the fuck out of here. I want to be able to call 911, have them people show up, and them handle the shit. Niggas talking about defund the police. I said, you say that dumb shit already. You don't want to be in the Bronx and they say that dumb shit. You
Feel me?
escape from New York.
Great. Nigga, you feel me?
Yo,
There's a shift in global power taking place right now. You know, power went from being bipolar to tripolar. Now it's multipolar. And we're seeing people popping up around the world testing the global dominance of a fallen empire. Biden administration represents the last age of man. And what I mean is, this is the last administration where there will be a human president. This is the last administration where there's a human, humankind is going to change after this president. By 4 years into the future, there will be a humanoid with the intelligence. They call them an embodiment, right? They embody a humanoid body with GPT. It's like Palm. Google released something called Palm E, and the E stands for embodiment. So Tesla is about to release the humanoid robot, and it's going to have an embodiment of AI in it. So now it's the rise of man merging with machine, and machine that's embodied with AI, which will soon be AGI. In the next 4 years, there's going to be no such thing as man only. So this is the last age of man. This is what they call the last man in the philosophy of Nietzsche, right?
Well,
age of the last man. This was what was prophesied. We're in it right now. We're in a time that was written about. We're in a time of the great ones have showed up. This shit is like the Super Bowl of the times, my niggas. Everybody has pulled up. Niggas had, the pantheon of the ancestors, those that just left this bitch. What you think they doing?
listen, so now you're talking about what's going to happen to human beings.
Well, how?
Well, one thing that nobody ain't talking about is what's going to happen to the animals. The animals are getting smarter.
Oh, big time.
Okay?
They get more sentient.
Yeah.
Yes.
I seen a video the other day where the little girl was going into some little koi fish pool. And she was about to fall into it. The dog pushed her out the way, got the thing, and fished the ball out the pond for her and gave it to her.
Bro, I seen a video
Right.
with a dog riding a tractor.
Yes.
And I seen that, and I'm like,
Right.
Yo, that shit is like the Guardian of the Galaxy shit where you got the fucking whatchamacallit?
Right. Where the cat getting busy, where the raccoon is lit.
Raccoon, son, this is some Guardian of the Galaxy shit, man. I promise you.
Yeah.
Listen.
We in a timeline where in the next 6 months they're gonna have an AI integration where the cats will be able to take niggas
To talk to you. Nah, man, niggas getting smarter already.
Yo, listen. Cats riding Uber, huh?
They had that. There was a while back. They had this shit with the Chinese kids. They was in the crib playing video games,
right? And
the dog was the lookout for them. And the pops came, and the dog went and turned the light off for them, and all kinds of shit. So the animals is getting smarter because they're observing us. Feel me?
Let's qualify it from a spiritual import. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that nothing moves without spirit. You feel me? What do you surmise is taking place post C-19, where the intelligent factor on sentient beings, in particular what we can observe through animals, is definitely evolving, and you know what I mean? I think that it coincides with the trajectory of what we see with machines and what we see with humans. There's just been something that has just pushed the upgrade button forward, and we can see evidence of it. I'm seeing new insects I've never seen. You feel me? And I'm seeing animals do things, and I'm seeing humans do things.
The babies, right? The the
The
baby,
babies.
because there's a baby
Yes.
boom, right? Hold on, a baby boom took place, right?
Yes.
Had babies out here right now.
Yes.
3-year-old, right? He was born in April of 2020 when the shit first hit.
Right.
They all different.
Yeah. Because okay, so now you got to understand.
Different.
So that the frequency always changes based on the advances of the planet,
Right.
albeit biological or technical, right? You come here, so the niggas before you learn how to motherfucking manipulate their thumbs and use their shits. You come here now, you got to do that, right?
Right.
You coming with that already because they talk about epigenetics where the rat could die on the track and send a fucking furno to the fucking children to understand not to run over this side because there's a trap over there, right? Okay, because the one thing that we disregard is our sense of smell in all of this. You know, we focusing on what we see and hear, but we don't really pay attention to what you smell. And so the idea of what them just the manipulation of the things that you smell in the air.
Right.
So we don't know what the chemtrails is doing, right? We have no idea, right? We really don't have we have an assumptions of what they're doing until they really come out and tell us. But they could be fucking with our sense of smell. Because remember, that was the whole thing about the whole corona shit, was the smell, right? Yeah.
Look,
that shit is very important.
Remember slamming them?
Yeah.
Yeah. About the importance of your olfactory capabilities. When you lose sense of smell, you lose mobility. You lose a lot of
they
things.
They throw you off. You quote unquote. Your equilibrium is thrown off when you lose your smell.
Okay.
Ask the boxer. Ask your boy with the liver shot. And
yo,
scorpions. Little nigga. What little niggas? 130 nigga to 140. What's that? 137?
Yo, listen. That's because all that slap boxing got motherfuckers thinking it's about the face, and they give it to you in the body, bang bow. You feel me? You gonna fold up like a taco. You know what I'm saying? That's old school rules. You know that.
Yeah, people.
You know the big homies. They don't punch you in the face. They give it to you in the body. Boom, boom, boom. What up, son? Right? He gonna give it to you in the face. Leave your face.
Right.
Leave the sign alone. The sign will be fine. Feel me? But there's a couple broken chairs in there. Feel me?
Be the body shot. Niggas be out here, and these shorties out here taking them body shots. You can't take too many.
Not at all.
Yeah. So, and when we let's think about video games, right? And there's like a rendering that could go over a screen and change the scene. Is it in terms of spirituality, how something can ripple and change the morphogenetic grid that holds together, like you said, the background frequency? Once the background frequency signals that there is a change, one that is prominent enough that it affects all species, all genus, then is that what we're seeing? Are we seeing like the planet rippling and getting ready for an acceleration, a change, and we can see the evidence in all things?
The gods are capricious. Okay? And nothing is beyond. And so that's the thing about God. God, when you extrapolate everything, the architect is only interested in entertainment. That's why you as human beings like to be entertained. God likes to be entertained. Do something, right? Let me see what the fuck you can do, right? Let me see some new shit all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So God, right?
And so this thing that's been happening and closing over and over again. Like, and that's why I'm telling you, don't worry about when the shit gonna end. You know what I'm saying? You get to the end of the show, you know what I'm saying? You get your applause.
That's why
You got to play your part. You know what I'm saying? Read the
Yeah, you
script.
know what I mean? I'm like, only a nigga that didn't show up to work was talking about, oh man, this shit is about to end. What you gonna be doing when the end curtain falls, my nigga? Is it gonna fall on your belly, on your back, nigga, or is it gonna fall on your head? That's the difference. Nigga, I'm gonna be active until curtain fall, nigga, and then it's gonna go back up again. That's only motherfuckers that don't understand how this shit work. The curtain is going down and coming up.
Yeah, this shit been happening before. It's gonna happen again.
Come on,
you know
man.
You got different motherfuckers. You have trillions or what is it? Googles of possibilities for this thing, right? And so, you know, so what happens is this is what happens. You gotta get spiritually. Everybody be like, oh, what you have to do is you have to have a sense of empathy for yourself within everybody else, because you exist in everybody else as well, right? So you have to have that compassion and that empathy for yourself in all other things, right? Because everybody has a day where they do some stupid shit or they talk stupid, they feel stupid. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have enough compassion to be like, see, because like I said, motherfuckers is worried about all this crap. Listen, man, Democrat, Republican, fuck all that. I don't want to speak Russian. You heard? I don't want to speak Russian. Straight like that. I don't want no Red Dawn shit with them niggas coming out the sky talking some shit and I don't know what they're saying, nigga butt me in the face with the gun. I don't want that.
Right.
Feel me?
Nor do I want Chinese niggas. Nor do I want Chinese niggas.
Yeah.
Or they whiz. Or they whiz. Like the older Chinese women. Like, I'm not here for that. How about that? I'm not, that I'm not here for. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, nigga, that's like
them people is mean as fuck. Yo, listen, they mean as fuck, my nigga. They ain't got no patience for nothing.
We grew up know that. We've been around. Look, they ain't got no patience.
My cousin was
getting
food. Then he was like, yo, what's up with my food? She was like, it's coming, Kay. Oh, shit, bitch. Like,
we was getting hit with rulers in day school. We was getting sat down with and getting hit on the knuckle with rulers by old white Jewish women. They was telling us that we wasn't gonna make it to be nothing. And the Chinese women still beat them out. Fact. You know something different when they beat out the white school teachers who told us that we came from nothing but slavery.
Yeah. They used to grab you by your ear. Remember they grabbed you by your ear? Or they that shit was legal back then.
With the shit, the fucking wedgies. And the lady at the goddamn wing spot, she beat her out, bro. I'm good on China. How about that?
No, listen to me. No, I had a black principal in my public school that was wickeder than the white bitches. Her name was Beverly Hall. This bitch was big time in water education. You hear me? This bitch had the poker face. I don't give a fuck what little niggas come in there bleeding. She'd be like, take him to the office. They had no feelings. Feel me? Real talk. I promise you, I used to be in the office on a regular sit, and that bitch didn't have. She had the same face all the time. I swear to God. That lady was apathetic to anything. You heard? She was one of the baby boomers. She probably got hosed down back in the days. You know, that bitch ain't got no feelings. Like, feel me? Like, you little niggas gonna get this shit together.
Right.
So, no, I don't want to speak Chinese or Russian, son. I pray every day. But I don't worry about it because Sean ain't tell me that. When he tell me, look, drop your cock and grab your socks, nigga, let's go, then I'm going to go. Feel me?
What we have to always understand is what they call war is called the theater of war. And the reason why they talk about good actors and bad actors in the theater of war is because it's the greatest show on the earth. You know what I mean?
It's that.
But the results of it is real niggas get killed. You know what I mean? Niggas die. And that's right there. That shit is more deadlier than the lottery. But guess what? Niggas is gonna play that game, right? So the game has been played the same way that we talk about the curtain calls. This game called the theater of war has been played repetitively throughout time, right? So yeah, it may play itself out again. It's playing itself out now as we speak between these actors and these quote unquote superpowers, what they call them, but what they represent as multi-polar or multi-nodes and whatnot is the mentality, right? It's more about what they represent. It's more about, what they bring to the table. You feel me? Like China represents a dictatorship. China represents
Right.
whole mentality. China is a big player in world power. The U.S. is a big player, but also Bitcoin, Web3, people who have their own decentralized markets and whatnot, people who have digital they got followings in the multi-millions, whereas they could say, yo, we just gonna create a whole city and it's gonna be 100,000 of us. They could do that. They got the ways and means.
But it's dangerous. It's dangerous still. It's dangerous. Because what we witnessing right now is the oligarchies of America.
Right.
See, you understand that Trump is out of there because he ain't about no war. He don't make no money off that shit. He ain't about that. And they need to have this war, right? Because that's what make America great. Them niggas get to building some shit.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? Blowing some shit up, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, all of this war shit, like you said, it's the theater. And they need it to happen. You feel me?
Oh, nah. It's a part of biblical, it's not biblical prophecy more than it's biblical scripture. The scripture is a script that these nations have taken oaths to follow. So all of their movements are in alignment with the biblical scripture because they're satisfying the quote unquote edicts of the scripture. And who the directors that are behind it is these powers, these behemoths of religion and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of the people who are alongside that. So,
but I was saying it's getting dangerous because these oligarchs, like the Cash App niggas just walk up and stab the nigga to death.
Oh yeah, that's
crazy. They just got bagmen just putting in work. Feel me? Like, we're gonna take this shit. You built that? We taking that. Feel me? That's when it gets scary because we're starting to so the fact that they even claimed up to the fact that they done killed the nigga Kennedy. Like they're like, yeah, we did that.
Right. Yeah, it was necessary evil.
The niggas like, yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we killed Martin Luther King. Yeah, we smothered him.
He was going off the script, and they was able to prove that he was going off the script, and by being able to prove that whoever did it, it wasn't held accountable for. So later on down the line, they'll fess up and be like, yeah, our hands was in that, and what?
You feel me?
Nobody's bigger than nobody's bigger than the program. Nobody's bigger than the agenda. Nobody is bigger than the motherfucking game. And
you see Jamie Foxx and them realize that?
They let one of you niggas slide, then it's game over for that whole goddamn mentality.
Yeah, you see, like I said, there's always this connection. Jamie in the hospital, Prize on the stand, like Leo DiCaprio got to get on the stand, right? Like, the shit is real, son.
Yeah. They be like, yo, somebody slipped at their job and they're in a coma now. Like, they'll tell you anything.
When all of those names that we just mentioned, you know what I'm saying, when we go back, what is it all tied to? China and Russia to some degree, and the fear of a challenge to the economic model, which is capitalism, and what they have to do by any means to maintain, once again, the state of life that we all enjoy.
I'm very good with my bread is butter that, bro. I promise you. I'm like, man, don't you start no shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got cash. This is a great time. This is a great understand?
Filling time.
Nigga, I know niggas that have gone to the fucking dealership with no credit and left with brand new cars. Oh, this is a great time. This is inflation right here, my nigga. You heard?
Man, this is it, y'all. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but goddamn it, niggas was like, oh, Biden's America. Biden who, nigga? This shit is lit. Like,
nigga, this is the decadence of Rome. You heard? So, like, they talk about when the society is on this back end, is when they start to celebritize the mundane, right? They say, so when you start to see, like, chefs, people, like culinary people become exalted and become celebritized, this is the beginning of a decadent time, right? And so, you got motherfuckers making money for shit that they know, hey, what the fuck did you do? You feel me? You can't tell me, yo, listen to me. There's a bunch of these rapping niggas, and it's not like, I just can't keep up with that shit, my nigga. They be a new nigga every day. This nigga got 1,000 million streams. He done did on Robocur's record. I don't even know what his name is. Right? Never heard it before. Day in my life.
Like, who?
And I couldn't tell you who the fuck was on who. What? I don't know none of them niggas, right? They steady making money.
right. So moving forward, if it's a digital version of that person or a digital twin or just an avatar with that person's voice, or if somebody gets creative enough, a rapper's voice, right? Any one of the dead rappers who are not signed to a record label or what, who are not underneath that binding contract, right? Where they got your ass for perpetuity.
Yeah. Yeah.
How dare you let a nigga get you like that? How dare you get fired or want to get got like that?
Nah, but you know, we've been talking about this shit for years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, why are you fucking with the record labels where there ain't no more records? Records are obsolete. That's a dinosaur. Fuck
Right.
is you talking about? You find that shit at a retro show or some shit, and you sign it to a record label. Then niggas ain't making no more records. What is you talking about?
Me? That's like telling niggas, yo, that's like telling the nigga, yo, I got signed to Rockaware to the show.
I got a Rockaware deal. I get a Rockaware shit for
Rockaware model.
I bet you do, nigga. The shit that's fucking turning brown. Nigga, goddamn, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? These niggas is crazy. Yo. Son, these niggas be thinking, yo, it's like I said, it's the same shit with niggas back home. So the nigga get on the train, he be like, I'm not selling no candy for no basketball team and nothing. I'm trying to stay out of trouble, right?
Right.
30 million of them niggas say the same shit. Nobody sell water. Nobody give a nigga no chips.
Right.
I might make a fuck that. We'll keep selling this goddamn candy, right?
I'm coming through with a box of fucking crack, nigga. Yo, yo, how y'all doing? I'm not selling drugs no more. But I take the legal way out. So I went over to Western Beach and whatnot, and I got all of the fucking candy, and I'm only selling it for a quarter.
I got
Man, you don't get the fuck off the train.
So even the niggas that sell water in the ATL, if one of them niggas would just get a dash or some Lucy, nigga, you might sell something on the side of the road.
Right.
I'm in the car, I ain't got no dash.
Want to break out.
Let me buy that. I don't want no fucking water. You niggas got that shit from the fucking FEMA camp. They ain't trying to sell that shit to me. Nah, son. I'm cool. You feel me? Why everybody gotta do the same thing? Why these niggas don't wise it up, son? You heard? Come on, man.
Where's the lemonade at?
Listen.
Nigga at? Why you
supposed to say the
GPT?
Yeah, I tell you, nigga, you wouldn't give me the same book. But come on, man. Step it up.
Right. I'm just saying.
So it shouldn't be no.
If the water nigga ran up on the left side and then the iced tea nigga ran up on the right side and then maybe the juice nigga ran up behind him.
Yeah, give me options, nigga. Right? And so everybody gonna give me drill, right? Everybody this shit is patty cake music right now. This is the shit